Today, the world was rocked by the heartbreaking news that Yandy Smith, the famous star of love and hip-hop, had been involved in a terrible car crash. Fans everywhere are still trying to come to terms with the news. As reports spread about her critical condition, doctors are warning that her chances of survival are very low, leaving everyone stunned and in disbelief. What followed the accident has added even more shock and confusion to an already devastating situation. Yandy's family and friends are at odds, with tensions rising as they struggle to cope with the crisis. Yandy's husband, Mendeecees, who promised to always stand by her side, rushed to the hospital upon hearing the news. But what nobody could have predicted were the secrets and hidden tensions that would come to light in the hours that followed. Was this just a tragic accident? Or was there something more sinister going on behind the scenes? What dark forces or personal grudges could have led to this horrifying turn of events? Yandy's fans are shaken, her family is falling apart, and the drama surrounding her crash is just beginning. Let's dive deeper into the story that no one saw coming. This is a tale of betrayal, hidden truths, and a shocking twist that no one could have predicted. Hold on tight as we reveal the shocking details you won't believe. At first, news of Yandy's car accident spread quickly on social media. Fans began to panic as reports trickled in about her being in critical condition. Early reports were vague, with only whispers of a crash on Buford Highway. But as more information came in, the horrific details began to emerge. Yandy, the fearless queen of love and hip-hop, was fighting for her life in a hospital bed. The situation was unimaginable. Fans all over the world were devastated and unsure of what to believe, as each new update seemed worse than the last. The car accident happened during rush hour, which only made things worse. Witnesses say Yandy's car was speeding down the road before it lost control, swerving off the pavement and crashing into a concrete barrier. The sound of screeching tires followed by a heavy crash could be heard for miles. By the time emergency responders arrived, it was too late. Yandy was unconscious, with severe head trauma and multiple broken bones. But the real shock came when doctors revealed just how serious her injuries were. Mendeecees, Yandy's husband, received the phone call every spouse dreads when he heard the news. It felt like his entire world fell apart. No one could have prepared him for what he was about to face. Without wasting a moment, he rushed to the hospital, his mind racing with fear and worry. But it wasn't just about Yandy's health. Mendeecees had been dealing with his own personal struggles for months. Tensions in his marriage with Yandy had been simmering, and now they were about to boil over. He knew things hadn't been perfect between them, but he never imagined he would be faced with such an overwhelming situation. When Mendeecees arrived at the hospital, he was met with a cold atmosphere, which only added to his sense of helplessness. He rushed to Yandy's bedside, where doctors were working desperately to stabilize her. The sight of his wife, bruised and battered, her body hooked up to machines, was more than he could bear. The woman he loved, the one he had been there for through thick and thin, was lying in front of him, clinging to life. His heart raced as he stood there, wondering how things had gotten so bad. Was this just a tragic accident, or was something darker at play? Could someone have intentionally hurt her? His thoughts raced as he struggled to understand what was happening back at home. The situation was just as tense. Yandy's mother, her siblings, and close friends rushed to the hospital, but not everyone was on the same page. Family dynamics that had been brewing for months finally came to the surface. Yandy's mother, a strong woman with a sharp tongue, didn't hold back. Instead of offering comfort, she added fuel to the fire. She immediately began to criticize Mendeecees, questioning his role in Yandy's life and accusing him of failing to be there for her when it mattered most. "Do you think this is all about you?" Yandy's mother snapped, her voice cold and filled with anger. "She's fighting for her life, and you're crying like it's your fault." Mendeecees, who had already been through so much, was now caught in a battle with Yandy's mother. The tension in the room was palpable, and it didn't help that Yandy's brother, Devin, was also unsupportive. "Don't think you can play the victim here," Devin said, glaring at Mendeecees. "She's been putting up with your nonsense for years, and now this happens." Mendeecees felt trapped. All he wanted was to be with Yandy, to hold her hand and promise her everything would be okay. But the accusations and mistrust made it almost impossible to be there for her. Meanwhile, on social media, the drama was reaching new levels. Fans of Yandy Smith were devastated, but many began to speculate about the true cause of the crash. As with any celebrity story, conspiracy theories ran wild. Some suggested that Yandy's crash wasn't just an accident, maybe someone had planned it. Some even wondered if Mendeecees was involved, suggesting that the tension in their relationship had pushed Yandy over the edge. Rumors spread quickly, with some fans suggesting that Yandy had been speeding on purpose, trying to escape something or someone. But what could possibly be so bad that Yandy would risk her life in such a reckless manner? Could it be that Mendeecees wasn't the supportive husband everyone thought he was? Were their relationship issues the reason for this horrible crash? The speculation only added to the fire. What was once a tragic situation was now being seen through a much darker lens. Fans were torn, with some defending Yandy and others questioning the cracks in her relationship that might have led to this disaster. But then, just as things couldn't get any worse, a shocking twist turned everything upside down. Mendeecees, sitting by Yandy's bedside, received a cryptic message that would change everything. It was from an anonymous source, and it hinted at something much more sinister behind the crash than anyone had imagined. The message claimed that Yandy hadn't just been involved in a random accident. Someone, a third party, had been involved, someone with a deep and personal grudge against Yandy. Mendeecees was shaken to his core. Could it be true? Was someone out there actually targeting Yandy? The hours after the crash were filled with confusion and pain. Mendeecees tried to stay composed, but the message gnawed at him. Was there someone who had planned this? Could it be that the crash wasn't just an accident after all? As he sat in the sterile hospital room, the weight of the situation hit him harder than ever. But even as Mendeecees tried to maintain control, things were getting even worse in the waiting room. Yandy's family, divided by years of tension, found themselves at odds over what to do next. Devin, Yandy's brother, took control of the situation, making decisions about Yandy's care and excluding Mendeecees from the process. His resentment toward Mendeecees had been building for years, and this was the breaking point. "Why are we waiting for him to make decisions?" Devin shouted. "He's been nothing but a liability in Yandy's life, and now look at where we are." Mendeecees felt the sting of his words. He had no choice but to stand there, enduring the accusations from all sides. He was once again caught in the middle of a family drama, with no way to escape the weight of their judgment. But then, something even more shocking happened. Yandy's best friend, Tasha, stormed into the waiting room. Her face was pale, and her eyes were filled with fear. She rushed toward Mendeecees, ignoring the rest of the family. "I know what's going on," she whispered urgently. Mendeecees leaned in, desperate to know what she meant. "What was she talking about, Tasha? What do you know?" he asked, his voice tense. "I know who did this," she said, her words dropping like a bombshell. Mendeecees froze. "What do you mean? It wasn't an accident, Mendeecees," Tasha whispered. "Yandy was targeted." The shock of her words hit Mendeecees like a ton of bricks. Could it really be true? Was someone out to get Yandy? Tasha's next revelation sent his heart racing. "There's someone from her past who has a serious grudge against her," Tasha added. Now, Mendeecees was more determined than ever to find out who was responsible for Yandy's condition. As the days passed, more secrets started to unfold, but the truth was still hidden in the shadows. The path ahead for Yandy and Mendeecees would be filled with pain and heartbreak. As the shocking betrayal that would change everything slowly came to light, would Yandy survive? Would her marriage survive the weight of the secrets and lies? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: Yandy's life would never be the same again.